Good evening. Welcome to Tuesday, January 11th, 2022, regular school board meeting. Can I have a motion to come out of executive session?
Motion.
Thank you, Matt. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Colin. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Can we please have the flag? Mr. Hines, do you have a flag?
There you go, Colin.
There you go, Kyle. Thank you. Okay. Robert Hines is now sharing. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Hines. Lisa, do we have any comments on agenda items?
No, there aren't any comments.
Okay, thank you. Dr. Tornatori, Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Downs. I would like to begin as we're going to have a presentation on the 9-period day. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Downs to begin the presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Tornatori. And Mr. Hines, is the recording going? Because I see it says pause. Thank you. So good evening, everyone. I'm joined this evening. I'm going to share the screen so you can see the presentation. So I'm joined this evening by our administrative team from the high school, from Riverhead High School, as well as from Riverhead Middle School. So speaking this evening will be Sean O'Hara, principal of the high school, Dr. Stephen Hudson, principal of Riverhead Middle School, and Charles Gassar, our director of guidance K-12. So we're very excited for the opportunity to present to you tonight about the 9-period day proposal for the 2022-2023 school year. We do think that this proposal will provide our students with many additional opportunities for success. So at this time, I would like to turn the screen over to Mr. Sean O'Hara, Riverhead High School principal.
Thank you, Ms. Tona. Good evening, Ms. Downs, Mr. Wallace, trustees of our Board of Education, and Dr. Tornatori. I appreciate the opportunity to be part of this evening's presentation. So on a survey that we shared with parents and students, some asked what a 9-period day might look like at Riverhead High School. So we are proposing that we return to the bell schedule that was in effect when we last ran a 9-period day, which I believe was the 2013-2014 school year. As you can see from this slide, each period will move from the current 47 minutes to 41 minutes each. Still above NYSERD requirements for a full credit course, but you'll also notice on the slide that period 1 will be 46 minutes long. And the purpose of this is to bring back a morning announcement component to our school day. So approximately 8 years ago, Riverhead High School moved to digital announcements solely. We still begin the day each day with our Pledge of Allegiance, but daily announcements are emailed to students and available to all on other formats. What we have found is that not all students keep themselves informed with this format. So the morning announcements will help ensure that all students are kept abreast of important information and events that take place daily and weekly at our school. But our goal is to move to a morning news show that will be produced by students and delivered by students. If you remember last year, our PTSO donated equipment for us to develop a news channel. This year, I'm pleased to say that we are running Blue Waves News as a club, but we will be proposing to offer it as a class next year. We have many students who are interested in broadcasting and who would love to have the opportunity to develop their skills and become a voice for our students in a broadcasting role. The morning announcements will help provide them with that venue. We'll still maintain the daily list of announcements for students and parents to access, but the morning show will highlight many of those announcements and help bring them to life. Okay, next slide, please. So at Riverhead High School, we currently offer many electives, AP courses, dual enrolled courses for college credit, and opportunities for students to attend those, as well as early college program on the campus of Suffolk Community College. As we prepared to propose the 9-period day, our district directors and department liaisons had an opportunity to meet with faculty members to develop some new electives for our students. This slide shows over 30 new half and full year courses that we intend to offer as long as there is sufficient student interest. We will be providing each of you with course descriptions for you to review and hopefully approve. Many of the courses proposed are in line with results from student, faculty, and parent surveys that we distributed. But one of the courses that I would like to highlight tonight is our proposed freshman seminar. So our goal is for most, if not all, incoming freshman students to be enrolled in freshman seminar. This would be a full year, 1-credit course covering essential information that will prepare our students for success throughout their high school years and beyond. Teachers who are interested in teaching the freshman seminar will have an opportunity to develop the curriculum for the course, but it will most definitely include important themes such as goal setting, problem solving, decision making, time management, full coverage of our code of conduct, study skills and note-taking skills, as well as financial literacy. Our future plans will include adding AP capstone to our existing AP offerings in year 2, as well as looking into the possibility of moving towards academies for our high school students. This simply means that students would have the option to focus their elective choices in particular areas. For example, we can begin immediately next school year with a business academy and then look to expand to additional academies in subsequent years, such as STEM, fine arts, future educators, law, and even medical academies. We are also looking to provide additional opportunities for academic support within our school day for our students. But as we are still looking into those opportunities, we will share those with Dr. Tornatore and Ms. Tona soon so that he can then share them with you so that you are aware. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our middle school principal, Dr. Stephen Hudson.
Thank you very much, Mr. O'Hara. Thank you all for having us, Board of Education, Dr. Tornatore. All right, so our Riverhead Middle School bell schedule, as you can see, will be broken up into 40-minute periods over the 9 periods, as you can see, with the exception of our first period. We will continue with the format that we have now with a longer first period, which allows students to get their breakfast, go to their lockers, and successfully get to class on time. We then continue with our morning announcements as well as our Pledge of Allegiance. And those morning announcements are shared on our e-board as well for important information to keep our students abreast of what is happening and prepared for their day. Stone? All right, one of the major factors of offering a 9-period day is looking at our middle school New York State requirements. Now, unfortunately, if you look at the right column, the far right column, you will notice that not all students are able to participate in all aspects of these curriculums, technology, family, consumer science, health, visual art, etc. That often comes into play when students receive things like student support services. Those are additional services, academic support services that the students need. So we are not always in an 8-period day able to successfully implement these required courses. Now, what's phenomenal is that with the 9-period day, we not only would be able to implement these courses, but ensure that all students achieve these requirements prior to leaving the middle school. We would even be, if you look at the bottom, the library and information skills, this is a new course that we are proposing that will offer students instruction in searching for information, locating sources, evaluating and presenting research and data, and ultimately supporting students in all of their classes with this information. So this could be a very exciting proposal. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to introduce Mrs. Campbell, our assistant principal, who is going to show you a model of how we are able to accomplish this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hudson. Thank you, Board of Ed, Dr. Tornatori, for having us. The slide you're seeing shows a mock schedule for a Riverhead Middle School student, grades 7 and 8, finally being able to fulfill all of their middle school requirements. The X's show when students would take each required course and how it would be mapped out. So they would be able to receive their 4 quarters of technology, 3 quarters of family and consumer science, 2 quarters of health, 1 quarter of library and information skills, 2 quarters of art, 2 quarters of music, and across the board shows the X's on how they would do that. Thank you, and I would like to introduce next our Director of Guidance, Chuck Gassar.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Tornatori and Board of Education members for all of your continued support and taking the time to listen to us this evening for these exciting opportunities. The student schedule timeline is actually a twofold process, which is kicking off this week. High school guidance counselors will be starting to visit 9th grade classrooms this week to do whole period presentations. The presentations will include information about graduation requirements, the guidelines that we use for students to qualify for different courses, in addition to guidelines for students to qualify for outside programs. The following week of January 16th, we'll be moving into 10th grade classrooms, and then on the 30th, 11th grade classrooms. The week of February 6th, high school guidance counselors, along with Riverhead Middle School guidance counselors, will be presenting to 8th grade students in their social studies classes. And just to give you an idea of the breadth of commitment that we're making to clearly and concisely communicate all of these changes and exciting opportunities, it's including close to 75 classroom presentations. And that is with the high school counselors going in teams of 2. So again, on the week of February 6th, we will conclude with the 8th grade classroom presentations. And then starting the week of February 13th, provided everything is approved, we will begin our course selection meetings. And these will be taking place in the guidance counselors' offices, where they will be meeting with students individually or in pairs that come down through their English classes. We will do them weekly, starting with our juniors. February 27th, after the February break, we will move to our sophomores, 10th graders. And then on March 6th, we will handle all of our 9th grade classes. Traditionally around early to mid-April, and we are planning on the same timeline this year, student course request letters are mailed home to all of our families, inviting them to contact us to have meetings, if whether in person or Zoom or over the phone and conference calls between parents and students, guardians, discussing the courses that the students have selected, and possibly discussing any changes or modifications that they might have interest in making. These meetings will continue through the end of classes, through the end of June, and then over the summer, we will move forward on finalizing our schedule and locking our schedule. So that's going to go straight through the end of the summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gassar. So as we prepare for 2022-2023, with the board's approval, we would move forward with planning for a 9-period day. The course selection booklet for high school students will be shared with the Board of Education in an upcoming meeting. We usually have the board adopt that. And final decisions, as was mentioned earlier, for which high school electives will run will be based upon student interest, which will be gathered as the course selection process goes through at each of the buildings. So in order to implement all of these exciting new courses, we do have funds available to pay our teachers to do some curriculum writing outside of the school day so that we could be fully prepared for September implementation. So that curriculum writing could take place starting now all the way through August, and the funds are allocated in our federal grants. So master scheduling would take place over the summer. As Mr. Gassar said, the buildings would lock their schedules sometime in the summer and then share scheduling information with the students. So of course, with an initiative like a 9-period day, there is a staffing implication. We would need additional staff at each of the buildings in order to make this possible. So we're looking at approximately 12 to 15 additional full-time equivalents at the high school and 3 to 4 full-time equivalents at the middle school in order to make this possible. So that is our presentation for this evening. And we thank you for the consideration, and we look forward to the possibility of bringing our students additional course offerings.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tona and the team. I really appreciate all the planning that you have put into this initiative. As we embark on the budgetary process for next year, we certainly are taking this into account and looking at how many FTEs we will need, and that will be built into the budget process that we will be presenting to the board later on. And over the next few months, we certainly are in conversation. We began conversations actually this week in meeting with all of the administrators regarding their needs and wants, and also areas where we could make any type of financial cuts so that we are able to absorb all these changes. But these are very exciting opportunities for our students. As you could see, the numerous amount of electives that will be available certainly makes the experience at Riverhead High School that much more exciting for our students. I did want to ask before I go on to any other items, if there are any questions from the board regarding this at this point.
I have a question. Are students going to be required to take the extra electives? My concern is the reason we went to an 8-period day was we had so many kids sitting in study halls that it really wasn't productive for them. Are we going to end up with a bunch of kids sitting in study halls again with early dismissal and late arrival and all of that instead of them being in school? Will they have to take the classes that are going to be offered?
So, Mr. Dorr, we certainly have been engaging in those conversations. And we know that in the history of the high school that those are some concerns. We certainly want to ensure that those concerns are addressed and that we do reduce the amount of study halls. And I do know that the team, along with Ms. Tona and with Mr. Gassar, are working to ensure that we have the classes available, that students are in class and that they are learning their material so that we do not have students either arriving later or leaving early and possibly, wandering hallways, et cetera, things like that. So that are certainly conversations that we are having right now to ensure that our students have rigorous learning. I think Mr. Palmer, you had a question?
Yeah, just one comment. Looking at the potential course offerings, I just want to say that the building principals and the guidance department have done a really fantastic job of creating very broad-ranged different electives in various different subjects. I mean, obviously the theater and classics person within me loves seeing the ancient Greek culture, the intro to theater, the dramatic literature. But specifically jumping out at me was seeing literature of genocide and bioethics, as well as freshman seminar, because these are the types of courses that usually courses are about the who, what, when, where, and how. And these are courses that are about the why, which is kind of at the heart of education. And I'm just hoping to see even more of that in the future. I think that that's a really great direction to be going in.
Thank you. And certainly I do appreciate the amount of work that Ms. Tona, our principals and our APs and our director of guidance have put into planning for all this. It certainly is a tremendous undertaking, but an undertaking that we've all been excited about because like you shared, this provides more for our students. We certainly want them to be to think on a deeper level, to be able to problem solve and to really be prepared for the workforce, because we know that the workforce has been changing and the requirements, and we want to ensure that the Riverhead High School graduates are prepared for the work world. So thank you for sharing that. I do have a few more items that I would like to share with the board and with the community. So before we had our break, I had the pleasure of attending many of the winter concerts. The high school winter concert, I was absolutely speechless with how wonderful it was. Seeing the orchestra and the symphony orchestra perform was absolutely fantastic. Visiting as Riley Avenue had their concert, and Aquabog as well as many of the other concerts. Cabinet members and I were able to attend all of the different concerts available. Just a few more items to share. At Riley, the student council is excited because they're planning for the Great Kindness Challenge, which will take place the week of January 24th through the 28th. The Riverhead News Review has acknowledged for the 2021 Educators of the Year, Dina Tisham and Laura Nettie. So we are very happy to see their recognition. Additionally, the Sports Person of the Year from the News Review is our athletes at Riverhead. So they've worked very hard, and we are so happy that we have athletics available for our students this year. A few other items at Pulaski. We want to thank the generosity of those who are involved at Pulaski, where the community members and staff worked to raise over $3,000 by the mental health team. Gift cards were donated by the administration, faculty, and the PTO and parents, and allowed families in need to choose gifts for their own children. In addition, there were generous donations where community agencies and faculty members adopted families and delivered gifts for the children. The community agencies include the Flanders Fire Department, Riverhead Fire Department, Rose's Care and Share, Riverhead Building Supply, and the First Congregational Church. In total, 82 families were supported by the efforts of the Pulaski Street School. The Pulaski Toys for Tots collection also allowed additional families to receive gifts for their children. So we were very pleased with that effort. At Aquabog, the fourth grade students recently attended a performance of a Christmas Carol at Theater 3 in Port Jefferson. Students had the chance to participate in an exciting live question and answer with the actors and the director. Aquabog also welcomed Patricia Shee for a live in-person holiday musical performance for the first time since 2019. We did receive word that Mr. Miltenberg had applied for a conference proposal at the National Association of Elementary School Principals Conference in Louisville, Kentucky. And he and his team were accepted, and we look forward to their presentation, which will be about transformational inclusivity, how we can build schools that feel like home. And it centers around all of the work that they are doing at Aquabog as well. So we are very excited about that initiative. And then I have two more pieces of information that I did want to share as well. Ms. Rogers wanted to thank the teachers and the parents involved that we were able to hold the parent-teacher guardian conference this evening. And certainly she wanted to thank the teachers for their flexibility in scheduling the needs for the parents and guardians. And from Mr. O'Hara, the last item I have is that the Key Club members toured our elementary schools prior to the break and distributed 1,000 bags of reindeer food to our kindergarten and first grade students. Our Science Olympiad will be competing in the Eastern Long Island Invitational on Saturday, January 29th, 2022 at Hop Hog High School. And all of our DECA students qualified to compete in the DECA State competition in Rochester this March. So a lot of wonderful things to celebrate in our district. So I do want to thank our teachers, our administrators, and all the staff for all the effort and work that they put in to help our students. So thank you for that. That's all I had, Ms. Downs.
Thank you, Dr. Tornatore. Okay, so we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Matt. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions, cares, concerns? Not seeing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We don't have any old business. New business, approval of engagement agreement. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Therese. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions, cares, or concerns? Not seeing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Letter B, approval of memorandum of agreement. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion.
Who was that?
Colin and then Brian.
Colin, Brian? Any questions, cares, or concerns? Not seeing any. All in favor? Motion passes. Let us see an amendment to the appointment of impartial hearing officers. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Matt. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions, cares, concerns, anything? Not seeing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. D, the second reading of the revised board policies. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion.
Going to you guys. Thank you, Colin. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions, cares, concerns? Not seeing any. All in favor? Motion passes. E, approval of field trip. Got 2 field trips. So can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Virginia. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions, cares, or concerns? Not seeing any. All in favor? Motion passes. Letter F, approval of disposal of surplus equipment. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Thank you, Colin. Could I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions, cares, concerns? Not seeing any. All in favor? Motion passes. Acceptance of donation. This is an awesome donation. It's a Schumann baby grand piano, and it's from John and Kristen Miller of Quad, New York. I want to thank them wholeheartedly for this donation. Can I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Thank you, Virginia. Could I have a second? Thank you, Therese. Any questions, cares, or concerns?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor? Motion passes. Opportunity for board members. Do we have any committee minutes? No. Any board members have anything they'd like to say? Go ahead, Matt.
I also just like to congratulate Roxy because they were recognized on the outstanding achievement for a recognition, I believe, which is the highest
Yes.
they can get. I believe so. Nice job. That's all.
Mr. Palmer?
I just want to, just very briefly mention, since this is our first meeting back since the winter break, and obviously there was, a lot of stuff up in the air in December and earlier this month because of the pandemic. A lot of students who didn't necessarily feel safe immediately coming back, but other people just making sure that we were continuing as usual, which is really important. Just making sure that everybody kind of knows that the district takes COVID really seriously. I got COVID over the break, which I was not expecting at all. I was the only person in my household during Christmas that did not have a chance to get a booster. And I was the only one who tested positive for COVID. The rest of my family, my parents, my siblings, their partners, were all boosted, all had negative test results, and no one else had any sort of symptoms. So saying this not as a board member, but just as a fellow member of the community, if you're vaccinated, I wholeheartedly urge you as much as possible to get boosted. It really helps.
Thank you, Colin. Anyone else have anything to say? Okay. Opportunity for RCFA, Lisa.
Okay. Good evening. Another year, another COVID surge. As the number of infections and quarantines continue to climb, so do the challenges surrounding delivering education in a pandemic. Although pandemic education is not unique to Riverhead, working through a pandemic following a cyber attack is. We know the district is doing everything they can to restore our technology as quickly as possible, and the association would like to thank Mr. Hines and his team who have been tasked with the monumental task of restoring our network. Also, a special thank you to the computer lab aides who are on the front lines of the crisis and have taken the brunt of the frustration articulated by our staff. As a result of the cyber attack, a significant amount of work product as well as curricular resources have vanished. It's like Groundhog's Day, as yet again, our members have to muster, just like in the spring of 2020, creating as well as recreating lessons and documents at a moment's notice. Their dedication and commitment to their craft, as well as the children of this district, is awe-inspiring. As a parent in this district, I would like to personally thank the teachers of Riverhead for their ability to continually navigate through this sea of adversity. Thank you, Gregory Wallace, our CFA president.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're gonna adjourn, but we're going to executive session after adjournment, but we will not be coming back out. So could I have a motion to adjourn?
What about public comment?
Yeah, was there any public comments?
Oh, I'm sorry. Opportunity for public. Is there any, Lisa?
No, there were none sent in.
There are none?
No.
Okay. So we're gonna go into executive session after adjournment for an employment history of a particular individual. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Thank you, Matt. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? All in favor? Thank you, everybody. See you on the 25th.
Please help support the Riverhead Central School District YouTube channel by subscribing. If you are not already subscribed to this channel, please be sure to push that subscribe button. and click the bell to receive notifications. Thank you.